Hey friends, what's up? So this is kind of crazy. There's some things going on right now. Basically, Robinhood has just recently announced a huge new credit card called the Platinum card. So not only are they going from the Gold card, but they're also going to the Platinum card. And so basically, Robinhood is completely taking on American Express. We're going to see exactly how in just a little bit. But I wanted to go ahead and, well, first of all, I was recording, preparing to record this particular thing. And then essentially, basically, I was thinking, you know what, let's just go live. Let's talk about it. Let's see what's going on with Robinhood. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen so you guys can see what's going on. Thanks so much for everybody that's filing in. But Robinhood just announced their Platinum credit card. And by just, it happened in the last hour or so. Their YouTube live stream actually just closed out not too long ago. But Robinhood announces their Platinum credit card for a $695 annual fee, which you'll notice actually is how much the Platinum card used to be up until a couple of months ago. And so basically that's what they're shooting for here. And they're going for the coupon credits. And they're kind of going very just shooting kind of wide to see what's going to happen here. So they have a lot of these different credits. We're going to walk through them. But what I want to focus up here on are the earning rates. And so we have these earning rates here, the 10% cash back on hotels. Presumably it's going to be through the Robinhood portal. However, that hasn't been confirmed yet, but I would assume so because Robinhood Gold card only gives a higher multiplier on those kind of portal redemptions. Let me see if I can actually zoom in on this particular thing here. There we go. Okay, so we can see that a little bit better. All right. So yeah, so 10% back on hotels, 5% cash back on dining. So this is going to be the huge one. So there wasn't really a limit that was issued on this. And so 5% back on dining is huge, right? That's greater than the 4x back ish, depending on how you redeem those Amex points on the American Express Gold card. But it also could be pretty good compared to, say, the City Knights on the City Strata Elite, as long as you're on team cash back. And so this is going to be really interesting. 5% back on flights, which is actually very similar to, I think, what the Gold card does now currently, as long as it's through the portal. And then 1% cash back on all other purchases. And so this is going to be the key thing that we're going to have to figure out if we care about, right? Are we going to transfer out that 3% back on the Robinhood Gold card for 5% back on dining and some higher multipliers when it comes to hotels and to air travel? And so that's going to be huge, right? We're going to have to figure out which portal, if any, is going to happen, right? So what's going to happen, right? That's basically the thing. Okay, so let's go ahead and go through now basically what's going on here. So there's going to be a whole lot of more credits with this one here. So the credits here are ostensibly pretty plentiful. So we need to take a look at some of these though. We have a $500 hotel credit. That's going to be kind of the top line here. But again, I would presume that this is going to be close to essentially, a maybe through the portal credit. Definitely, I would kind of assume that's going to take place. But it's unknown if it's going to be 250 every 6 months or just 500. Right. The website just updated. Okay, thanks, Connects. Let's go ahead and see Robinhood Platinum card. Let's see if they have that. Let's see. Okay, still showing it on mine. Maybe I just haven't updated. Maybe I got to update my cookies. But yeah, anyway, so basically there's this $500 hotel credit. We don't know exactly if it's going to be once a year or if it's going to require 2 nights of stays. We will know more, but $500, presumably through the travel portal, could be pretty easy if the travel portal is worth doing, which we'll explore as well. Okay, yeah, thanks, Connects. I kind of thought they should have it ready on the Robinhood site, but it appears that they don't. So then we have $250 in DoorDash credit. Now, DoorDash is willing to kind of deal with literally anybody. In fact, I get Dash Pass because of my Southwest card, and my wife gets it through, hers, the Sapphire Preferred card. So, DoorDash works with a lot of different people here. $250 doesn't really seem to work out on a 12-month kind of thing. So it doesn't seem like it would be a monthly thing, but I feel like it probably would be. But $250, maybe they're going to break it down into kind of a quarterly thing. Okay, cool. Let's take a look here. Okay, yeah, there we go. Thank you so much. Appreciate you, Connects. You are awesome. Okay, yeah, so there we go. So two $10 credits per month with three in December. Okay, order must be $50 or more to qualify. Interesting. Okay, so this actually is pretty intense. Let's see if I can close out. Okay, I can't close out that one yet. All right, so yeah, so two $10 credits per month. So you have to have two $50 orders on DoorDash in order to actually make this work. Wow, that kind of sucks. I mean, if you buy like a handful of things on DoorDash, like you probably are spending $50, but at that point, to save $10, that's basically just the delivery fees or the tip at that point. So I really wouldn't say that this would be, yeah, no, James, definitely Chase would be a lot better, right? Because, I feel like you have, I think what is there is just the one $10 and the two $5 groceries or something like that. I know there's some shenanigans there. Yeah, so that I definitely don't think this is going to work for me, honestly. Let me know in the comment section though if you think this one will work. Now you do have a $250 restaurant credit, one $20 credit per month with a $30 credit in December, valid at 15,000 participating restaurants. So this is going to be the kicker here. Now, where do we see this list, right? I don't know. If you see this list, like 15,000 restaurants sounds like a lot, right? But maybe it's not going to be. I don't know. It's definitely more than there's Resi, that's for sure. But I don't know what this list entails, right? If it was $20 per month just on any dining purchase, that makes sense, right? You're using this card for that 5% back multiplier on dining. So you would think that just being able to use this credit on that would be worth it. I don't know. This one is a head scratcher for me. It just depends on where the participating restaurants are. That's going to be the key detail. Okay, so the hotel credit is one $250 credit every 6 months, valid on qualifying luxury hotel bookings through the Robinhood travel portal. Can use up to $100 of that towards standard hotel bookings. Ooh, so what are they going to call? What are they going to call the luxury hotel bookings, right? Is it going to be the Langham? Is it going to be, the Four Seasons, or would the Westin qualify for this credit, right? That's going to be the kicker on how usable this credit actually is. So I'm really kind of, again, there's a lot of things here. There's a lot of wiggle room about whether or not these credits are worthwhile. But, saying that it's only for up to $100 towards standard hotel bookings, that's really giving me a lot of pause here. I'm uncertain about that. But again, we'd have to see. Let me see if we do have. I do see it in the. I'm trying to see if we have something else, like if I can see the portal, because I can see the portal on my app, but I just don't know how I can show you the app. I may have to do a separate recorded video where I just do a screen share of a screen recording on my phone. But we'll have to look into that in the future. Now, the $300 travel credit, this is interesting. Well, $150 credit every 6 months, so twice a year. Valid on rideshare services, hotel charges, flights, and other travel-related purchases. Doesn't need to be booked through Robinhood portal. So that's actually really helpful. So this is kind of cool. I think maybe if we're looking for bright spots here, I think this might be one of the better ones, just because, we don't have to use the Robinhood portal for this. I presume that if we're going for a $695 annual fee card, that this is going to be a Visa Infinite card, because the gold card is a Visa signature card. So I would assume that this would actually do, have some decent travel protections, right? So maybe you have primary collision damage waiver. Maybe you have trip cancellation insurance, right? We don't know that for sure, but I probably would assume that we're dealing with Visa Infinite, and that does carry along some certain protections and things with it. So I wouldn't be too terribly adverse to putting hotel charges on this card. Now, the thing is that it may not be let's see. Yeah. So if you're not paying through the portal, then you're only earning 1% back on those purchases. And so that's going to be kind of a problem, because you'd be sacrificing the earnings to actually be able to use these credits. And so that's kind of a key thing that I would have to consider with trying to use this credit. But, for $300 back, maybe I would be okay with taking a haircut on that. That would be a big kind of calculation that you'd have to figure out for yourself. All right, so let's take a look at this autonomous credit. Okay, so $120 credit per month with a $30 credit in December, valid for qualifying autonomous ride purchase. I'm assuming, yeah, Wells is making an appearance. Yeah, I'm assuming that this will be for Waymo. Now, Waymo probably impacts maybe 1% of the country, 2% of the country. We do have some Waymo rides next, like very close to me. But if I wanted to actually book one in order to actually go to somewhere, it wouldn't be possible, right? Because it's only in the touristy areas, which is interesting because those are the ones with the worst drivers. But, so this one, I really don't think that many people could use. Now, let's take a look at the $200 wearable credit. So this seems to be a flat $200 credit according to Doctor of Credit, but more details are available in app and they aren't provided yet. So it looks like the jury's still out on that. Yeah, James, exactly. So for California people and in Austin, Texas, and a very specific area of the International Drive portion of Orlando. So maybe I'll be able to field test this. We'll have to see. But it's weird that it doesn't say anything else about this, like any particular company, right? It's just autonomous. That seems to be interesting. I mean, I think we can infer Waymo, right? I don't think anybody else is really that big when it comes to, the autonomous kind of space. But yeah, so that's where we're doing the wearables credit. Again, we don't really know what's going on with that. Could I use this for, could I use this for my ability to, say pay for another Aura ring or the charging case for my Aura ring, right? Maybe. But we don't know that for sure. But if that is what it is, that would be really solid. Now, so we can confirm that the 10% and the 5% are just through the Robinhood travel portal, which honestly makes sense just because, that's how the card is now. Now, I have not made any travel portal reservations. But yeah, no, that 1% cash back is rough, especially again, when you think about that travel credit. If you're trying to earn that $300 travel credit, again, at $20 per month, $150 every 6 months, rather. Sorry. You're earning 1% on that purchase, right? So that means you're giving up, say, 14x if you're using a Hilton card for that hotel, or you're giving up 5x if you could be using your American Express Platinum card for that hotel. Like, there's a lot of things you're giving up with that particular thing. Okay, so let's take a look at the memberships here. So this one, I got to talk about the Aura one, right? So this one is wild to me. When I read that, I was like, of course, Robinhood is going for the gold standard, right? They are trying to compete, right? And calling it the Platinum card, right? They want you to think, okay, do I want the American Express Platinum card or do I want the Robinhood Platinum card? And Aura is definitely a key thing, right? Because if you have the American Express Platinum card, you probably already have a Aura ring that you got for $50 when they went on sale on Black Friday. But you're paying, what, $5.99 a month or $70 a year for that subscription, which means you're kind of like, okay, how do I get out of this? Boom, switch to this particular card. So it's an interesting kind of marketing play here. I just don't know how that's going to work for them. So we're going to have to see about that. Function Health, I actually don't know about Function Health. So let's go ahead and see what is Function Health. If anybody knows, let me know in the comment section below. But okay, yeah, so... Oh, so it's lab testing. Okay. Which is interesting because Aura actually advertises lab testing as well. But yeah, okay, so $365 per year. Every year, starting with 160 plus lab tests detecting 1,000 plus conditions. Okay. So you could just have health insurance. There's that option. And you don't need this, but if you don't, you can go and you got some people that are looking very healthy and looking very intensely into the camera. So there's that. So we have that option. Let's go ahead and take a look. Okay, so Function Health, $365 value. Would I pay for that? No. I just go to my primary care doctor. He sends me to Quest. Quest bills my insurance $1,500. My insurance pays $3, and then everybody calls it a day, right? Do I need Function Health? No. But will I use it if it's there? If I get the card? Sure. But yeah, no, not going to do that. Amazon Health, I did see they at one point they had that little wearable thing. It was kind of looked like the Whoop tracker. I don't know if they still have that actually. Let's take a look at Amazon Health and see what that looks like. And does anybody have any experience with Amazon Health? I don't see. Okay, so Amazon One Medical. Okay, so online doctor's visits, which actually that's kind of helpful, right? If you don't have health insurance, right, and it says no insurance required from $20 per message visit or $49 for video visit. So if we take a look here at the credits, $200, yeah, so that's good for 4 visits, maybe if we're looking at if I'm getting the appropriate read on this situation. Yeah, so it seems like it's more health focused, which is good. They're kind of capitalizing on that whole thing, right? So American Express did the Aura Ring, and then Chase answered with the Whoop credit, which apparently the life membership isn't a lifetime membership; it's just a life membership for a year, which that's crazy. But marketing is marketing, right? So let's take a look at this Priority Pass Select membership here. So unlimited access for primary. Ooh. That's gonna be bad. That is so bad, guys. Party Pass Select membership, unlimited access for primary card holder, guys. Every single card that I have with this, right, is something that every card that I have that has a priority pass, right? My Chase Ritz Carlton card that gets me 2 free guests for each visit, right? And that's just obviously the lounges can decide if they can take those guests or not. But at least on paper, if I can bring in 2 people, I don't pay for those guests. Unlimited access for primary card holder. It doesn't specifically say if there's a charge for those guests, right? But it doesn't not say that, right? And I feel like that would be something that would be said. So if it is true that it is just for the primary card holder, then that could be bad. Okay, we actually see Robinhood legal terms here. Okay, so there we go. Okay, so we have into the Dash Pass membership. Oh, okay. So you get a complimentary Dash Pass membership on top of everything. Okay, and that's pretty standard based off of the Chase situation, right? Like you have the card, you link the card with your DoorDash, account, and then it gives you the benefits of having that Dash Pass membership. Okay, so that makes sense. Let's see. Apply 1 discount per qualifying delivery order with a minimum subtotal of $50, included taxes and fees. Okay, so there's that. Let's take a look at the dining credit. So more than 50,000 local restaurants are eligible for this promotion. Oh, so this makes it sound like it's part of maybe that eat around town program, right? Like where, like, whatever the point system is, you can earn. Like if I wanted to say use it at the local Payway, right? I can use one card that's associated with my United dining account or my Southwest dining account. It seems like it's a part of that program, which would be kind of frustrating for me because there's not, if that is true, there's not a lot of restaurants near me that participate. I think there's probably 15 in like a 10-mile radius from me. And I don't really go to them that much. They're not really that good, honestly. So that's going to be kind of a key consideration of this particular thing, right? Is this list from there, right? That's going to be the big kicker. Like what's going to happen with this one? So that's kind of basically what I'm thinking about when I'm thinking about this, right? Is this list going to be actually accessible for me? So that's kind of what I'm thinking about. All right. So now that we looked at that. Okay. So we get an extra $10 applied in December. Okay, so I don't know. Let's look for some more problems. Why don't we? All right, so we get the wearables credit. We'll receive annual statement credits for qualifying health wearable purchases. The benefit amount is up to $200 in total statement credits per membership year. Additional details about this benefit can be found. Okay, so again, these credits are per membership year, so not calendar year. So that's also important to consider, right? So we're not quite sure what's going on with that one. So that's also important to note. Okay, so the travel credit post automatically to qualifying charges once transaction. If an eligible transaction is refunded, the credit is reversed. Credit will not be reapplied unless it is within eligible time frame. Okay, so if we make a hotel purchase, we get this credit, we end up canceling that hotel stay, you won't get that credit back, right? At least if it's past the window where you would earn that credit. So that's also an important note. Okay, so the 500 hotel booking credits via Robinhood Travel Portal. Eligible cardholders will receive up to $250 in statement credits for qualifying luxury hotel bookings per 6-month period, with the option to use up to $100 of that credit towards standard hotel bookings. Qualifying hotels are identified in the app and must be booked through the Robinhood Travel Portal. So again, I'm going to be doing a video about these particular things. I'm going to look into what this travel portal looks like and how these prices work out. But right now, this is just kind of a let's jump on here, kind of react to this together. I'm really skeptical of what a luxury hotel booking is, because having kind of these particular hotels is kind of like that could be a bad thing, right? All right, airport lounge access. Let's see, and to unlimited lounges. All right, so yeah, so no guests. No guests are included in the terms and conditions of the priority pass, which means this is one of the weaker priority passes that I've seen. So that can be bad. All right, global entry, TSA pre-check, right? Everybody has this. You can get the Venture card, and it'll have that. Honestly, at this point, I feel like American Express has kind of a huge corner on the market with Clear. But at this price point, I would expect something more than just TSA PreCheck. I don't know. Maybe I'm just being a little bit crazy. Let me know in the comment section below. Okay, let's take a look. We have some more information about the autonomous ride statement credit. So primary cardholders are eligible to receive annual statement credits for qualifying autonomous ride purchases. It's a monthly credit. Come on, guys. It's a monthly credit, $20 monthly credit. Eligible autonomous ride purchases that post during each monthly benefit period will automatically receive a statement credit. Credits are auto applied. Okay. Dear Lord. All right. Annual membership, Robinhood Gold membership. Yeah, we get that $50 a month or $50 a year. That's the annual fee on the gold card. So that's just part of the things that you have to be a part of in order for this membership thing to happen. Paid authorized. Okay, great. Okay, so paid authorized users are eligible for certain limited travel and wellness benefits, presumably the travel protections. But you also also get their own priority pass. And they also get their own global entry in addition to the function health, the Amazon. Okay, great. So it's interesting. I wonder how much these authorized user fees would be. Okay, yeah, so we see pure platinum plating. Yeah, so they are definitely going for all of that stuff. Okay. Will there be a sign-up bonus? Unknown currently. No, yeah, so the credits don't stack. Okay, so there's all sorts of potential issues here. I think, honestly, let's go ahead and look through this. Actually, let's go back to the main thing here. So the DoorDash credit, I would not be able to use. Just full stop. I would imagine, John, it's not a charge card just because the gold card is a credit card. But my gold card does have a credit limit of 10,000. Like, it seems like that's kind of the standard credit limit, which means that a lot of these accounts are potentially convertible to the platinum card if you wanted it, right? So there's that. The restaurant credit, if it is that particular thing where it's that limited kind of reward system restaurants, then this is worthless to me. I may be able to use about half of it, to be perfectly honest. The hotel credit, I'm worried about what counts as a luxury hotel. Is it a Westin? Is it a Ritz-Carlton? Is it the Four Seasons? Do I have to go to a ski lodge in Quebec every year in order to actually be able to use this? Or is this something that most people can actually use? That's going to be my key consideration with this one. The travel credit, yeah, that one's easy. $150 every 6 months. The only thing you're giving up is you're not earning on that card, but you probably will still have some travel protections with that Visa Infinite card, which it sounds like somebody in the comment section actually confirmed that they did advertise it as a Visa Infinite card. So that's amazing. So, all right. So wearables credit, we'll see what that looks like, right? Okay. So let's compare this now. Actually, before we compare this, I want to go through and let's go through some of the comments here. So Tyler's Credit Card Tips is here. Thanks so much for being here. You're amazing. Calder is also here. Oh, wow. That's right. I forgot that Spencer was going live. Hopefully I didn't step on it too much. James saying, what's up, friends? This is James from Points. Thanks so much for being here. Appreciate you. Ian wants to know what's going on. Yeah, so crazy earning rates. Yeah, and that's the headline, right? The 5% cash back on dining purchases is huge, especially if you're someone who does go out to eat. The only problem is there's months where we spend, 800 or, maybe 1,000, on going out to eat. But, now that we're kind of transitioning into more of a kind of we're going to be eating at home a lot more, that's kind of not going to be something as big a deal for me, but I can definitely see where people would want 5% back. I don't know if that's worth trading that 3% cash back on every single purchase, though. That's going to be kind of the big kicker for me. That's kind of what we think. Yeah, so Ian's saying he loves that he's rich. James saying 15,000 invites to begin. So they're going to go with, we're going to talk about it. You got to be a member of Robinhood Gold card for our Robinhood Gold, for the next 5 years, and maybe we'll think about it. And then they're just going to accidentally let loose on something on Credit Karma, and everyone else that hasn't been waiting will get it. Basically, yeah. Oh no, a match just went live. There we go. We'll see how he's doing. Thanks so much for being here. All right, let's see. So James is saying Chase is better, actually. Yeah. And that's saying something for the DoorDash credit, right? So the DoorDash credit was not something that I really cared for that much. But yeah, so there we go. Tyler credit seems like they're all good on paper, but are going to be gutted by stipulations. Absolutely. And we're starting to see that, right? Some of these stipulations are really, really, really limiting. Sharvicio, thanks so much for being back. The stipulations might be crazy, but it makes the cards seem more realistic than a card with these credits and no stipulations. Okay. So maybe this one probably won't get broken, right? And maybe this is actually part of how Robinhood is trying to make the gold card more profitable, right? So we have a lot of the people that I know in the community use the Robinhood Gold card to try to maximize that 3% cash back on everything, right? And so there's a lot of ways that you can kill that particular card. But if they're trying to make sure that some of those 3% people are moving off to this and they're actually earning less, but it's a nicer looking card, then maybe this is a way to keep the Robinhood Gold card more profitable. So that may be part of it. Let's see. James is saying when they were showing the flights, it looked very easy to book a flight. Right. Yeah. The every time I've looked at the Robinhood travel portal, it looks easy. I'm just in my list of the travel portals that I use that I don't use, right? This one would be the one I would have the most stress over, right? Like if the hotel doesn't get my booking, right? Will there be a way for me to talk to someone about getting this fixed, right? That's going to be one of my big concerns with this. And we'll see that as more and more people get this card, use this credit, and actually start using the portal reliably, we'll be able to see a little bit more of whether or not this is actually going to be a concern moving forward. So that's going to be something we're going to have to figure out and just kind of break as we go. Yeah, so our VCO is the one who confirmed Visa Infinite. Yeah, I would definitely assume that. Tyler, yeah, I agree. More realistic in the sense of it existing, but definitely less realistic in terms of being able to give value for sure. But yeah, but who knows? It may be easier than we think. Yeah. And this is the thing, right? So like when I first look at the card, right, I'm trying to see how can I use it and can I get value from it? And I did get some pushback on that when I was looking at the first kind of the built 2.0 cards. And, to be fair, like I applied for the Obsidian or the Palladium card, was denied for it. And I applied for the Obsidian card, and that's still being under review. But I just want to make sure that I'm taking a look at kind of all the angles, right? Maybe it is possible for someone to use some of these credits. Maybe it's not. I don't know. Yeah, no, that's a solid thing to think about. Shervicio, did Robinhood just take a shot at BOA? Yeah, that's a good point, because Bank of America recently just kind of nuked their whole program. At least they announced that they will nuke their program in a certain capacity, right? You're not going to be earning as much as you were, which means that like most people that are trying to use 3% or more on their Bank of America credit cards, maybe you want to do Robinhood a little bit more. I know that I forgot who the YouTuber was that was talking about the Bank of America cards versus Robinhood, and thinking about whether or not it would make sense to go to the Robinhood Gold card after those Bank of America changes. And so that could be a huge deal, especially with Bank of America, or especially with Robinhood. I mean, trying to get as many assets under management as possible. Being able to win something like that over Bank of America would be kind of a huge business move on their part. So that's going to be a key concern. So no race car, no life is saying the base earning of 1x alone makes it a no. And of course, I do want to make sure I'm being a little bit of a stickler, not to be kind of too much of a stickler, but it is 1%, right? So it's not even 1x, right? So if it was 1x with the American Express Platinum card, at least you have the argument of saying, okay, that could be a 2% card, or it could be a 3% card, depending on how I use those points. But here, no, it's just a 1% cashback card. And sure, you can make the argument, and I have, that you can make that into a 2x hotel card, but realistically, it's still 1% cashback, right? Okay, no risk card. If it was the 3x as the gold, it would be a solid card. Right, yeah. So if you could have the gold card for your catch-all and then have the platinum card for that 5% dining, I think that might be worth having, honestly, because the only actual fee with the gold card is having the Robinhood Gold. But if it's included in the platinum, then the gold card becomes a no annual fee credit card. So that might actually be worth just hacking on there. Let's see here. Servicio, $300 travel credit, $500 credit, or $200. That's the minimum $500 value right there before. Yeah, there you go. All right. Let's see. Tyler's credit card. Oh, was answering about the Amazon Health program. There we go. Oh, yeah. So James has a nice card if you're a Robinhood zealot. Exactly. Yeah, the dining could be pretty worthless. $695 is a lot. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and Kevin has a great point here. The Wells Fargo journey is a lot cheaper and rewards similar as well, right? So Wells Fargo, first of all, like they're kind of breaking the game, right? If you can make Air France and I think, are they Virgin? And I think they have an obvious partner. They don't have very many, but the partners they do have, you can make it work. And if you can make it work, then Wells Fargo is really, really quite compelling, right? You have to make that work. And so, yeah, no, Wells Fargo has a lot of options. Honestly, for most people, I would still say that Citi is really easy to get value from nowadays, between the American Airlines, between the JetBlue partnership, between the Choice Hotels and I Prefer. There's a lot of easy ways for most people to get value from Citi. You can also say the same thing of Chase, even though that's a lot less true than it was, say, 2 weeks ago, right? You can still get value for most people from the Chase platform. It'll be interesting to see what actually happens here. Okay, so let's take a look here. John Cutter seems like an alternative gold card without the charge aspect. Yeah, 100%. All right, so Tyler's saying I timed it perfectly. Yeah, so okay, so Luigi, thanks for asking that question. So with my Robinhood Gold card, and I guess I got to show and tell here, and I can actually show you the back. No cards or no card numbers, but with the Robinhood Gold card, you have like 15 different ways to actually cash out your points. Now, the best way to do it is to cash it out to your brokerage account, because that's 1-to-1. So 1 point is 1 cent. That's actually the best redemption. If you do for a statement credit, or if you do it for gift cards, it can be 0.6 or 0.7% or zero point 0.7 points cents per point. Yeah, there we go. So you can do it to your brokerage account, and then from there you can transfer it. You can either leave it in your brokerage account, because if you have gold, you're getting that cash sweep higher interest rate. So you can just let it sit there and actually just function as a high yield savings account, or you can invest it, or you can actually just transfer it out to any other checking account, right? You can also transfer it out to your Robinhood checking account, and then you pay it off with your pay off your Robinhood Gold card with that. So that's basically that's the best way to cash out. You can do a lot of other things. They have kind of a loot box system that's just blatant gambling, and I will never do it, but I know some people are kind of intrigued by it. All right, so let's see here. Tyler's credit card tips. Remember, for 2 months, I think they're fumbling the ball a little bit, to be honest. It does feel that way. It does feel that way, Tyler. There's a lot here for the headlines, right? That 5% back on dining, that's going to be the thing that everybody talks about. The fact that it probably will look pretty good, right? That's going to be something that people are going to talk about. The Oura Ring thing, that could be enough to make actually some people actually move. So that's something to consider as well. There's a lot of things to talk about there. And so actually one thing that I do want to take a look at while we're talking about the comparison, I want to compare how the Robinhood Gold card compares to the regular gold card. So let's go ahead here, and I do have one actually in my little folder here. So this is going to be the regular American Express Gold card, right? And this is the Robinhood Gold card. So we do see a little bit of difference, right? So this one's, first of all, a little bit thicker actually. But if you take a look, I actually think that this card looks a little bit better than this card. This card is very clean. It doesn't look as classic to me, right? It doesn't look like, oh, like that's something I want to pull out of my wallet, right? Because it doesn't have that cachet, right? American Express, it just when you pull this out, you pull this card out, people know what it means. People have an opinion of you based on that, and sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad, but it's there. So I think the fact that the gold card, it doesn't look as good as the regular American Express Gold card. We're going to see what this Platinum card looks like. Actually, let me see. There is an image on the Doctor of Credit's website. So let's go ahead and take a look here at that really quickly. See if I can scroll down. Yeah, so it looks like it's going to be pretty similar to the Gold card in terms of design. You're going to have the little Robinhood logo here. It looks like there's going to be kind of more of a contrast here on the leaf part of the logo, whereas you see here, it's just kind of like an outline. Actually, sorry, let me go back to being full screen. You can see it's just kind of like an outline there. So that's kind of important to note. So it could be pretty. We're going to see what that looks like moving forward. But yeah, no, good point. Let's see. Polygraph. Thanks for this. Save me from watching that long Robinhood video. Probably going to open a Robinhood Gold account to keep options open. Polygraph. Yeah. Thanks so much for the super chat. Really appreciate you. Just to let you know how I got my Robinhood card. I was on the wait list pretty much when it opened up, and I ended up getting it about 6 months later. But how I got it was kind of weird. So I kept my Robinhood Gold account open. I paid the monthly rate because I didn't want to commit to the full year. I kept it open for 1 month, kept it open for 2 months, didn't really use it that much. I was kind of tinkering around with it. I was using it to show my economic students like some higher level like research data on stocks and things like that. But I really wasn't getting a lot of value out of it. So I went ahead and actually canceled my Gold subscription. However, so I think fast forward maybe August or September, a couple of months, I ended up getting an offer saying if you basically deposit, I think it was $1,000, keep it in there for 30 days, we're going to give you, I think it was $100 or $200 or something like that. And so I was like, yeah, sure, let's do it. So I just moved something over from my one of my high yield savings accounts over to my Robinhood Gold account. Kept that in there for the 30 days, and then almost immediately, on the 31st or the 32nd day, that account got that bonus got deposited into my account. I cashed everything out, but put all the money back where I wanted it to go. And then the next day after I got that bonus, I got an offer to apply for that Gold card. So basically, I think if they give you a specialized offer like that and you take it, I think that's an easier way to get off the wait list. Of course, I think the Credit Karma link is kind of nonsense, is still there. But yeah, Polygraph, it's definitely worth considering. If they sent me an email telling me that I was approved for this right now, I'm trying to figure out how big would the bonus actually have to be for me to actually make the decision to go ahead and use this, right? What would I have to do, or what would this offer have to look like for me to say, you know what, that's worth having, right? I want that more than my American Express Platinum card, right? I want that more than I want my Aspire card or my Access Aspire card, right? Like I have to figure that out, because in a world where those annual fees, they combine and they kind of build on each other so heavily, it's difficult to kind of figure out which one remains on top. And that market it's killer. It's killer now, right? You got to figure out how the coupons, they got to make sense. The multipliers, they got to make sense, right? Those partnerships, they need to make sense. Like people have to believe that they can get that value back. And I'm not sure. It would take longer for me to believe that I get the value back on this card than it would, say, on the American Express Platinum card, right? So that's kind of important. So that's one decision that we have to think about with this card. And then we have the other decision we have to think about is, do we want this card over the Robinhood Gold card, right? So this one here, let's go ahead and discuss the Robinhood Gold card. Let's talk about the elephant in the room here. Let me go ahead and share my screen here. So yeah, so the Robinhood Gold card, 3% cash back across the board. Like that's it. That is the holy grail of this credit card space, right? When people they talk about like the storied credit cards, they talk about the Citi Prestige getting 6x back on dining, right? They talk about the AAA cards getting all of the benefits that they get, right? They talk about the Redstone Visa card, which had what was it, like 3 or 4% back on online shopping or something like that, right? And then they talk about the Robinhood Gold card for 3% back on every single purchase. Now they did change it a little bit, right? You can't just go use it to buy gold at Costco, but you can still use it to get a lot, right? So why should I worry about using the Saver card when I could just get 3% cash back on everything? If I'm team cash back, this is the card I need to get, right? Why should I give this up for a card that costs so much more, right? This card is $50 a year. Why should I give this up when it earns me more, can earn me more than a card that I have to pay $695 for? I don't. There's a couple of different matrices here that make it difficult to say, you know what, I want the Robinhood Platinum card. I don't know. Am I just being too hard? Let me know in the comment section here. Let's go follow up here. Kevin, Robinhood Platinum is similar to City Stride Elite. Right. Exactly. Right. There's a lot of kind of, what's the Timu version of coupons, right? So American Express, right? We got the Lululemon, right? We have Resi. We have It Seems Intentional, because it is, right? They know where we're shopping. They know what people want to shop. More importantly, they know who's going to pay them to bring them the shoppers. Robinhood is just like, I want to be part of the party, and so we're going to see that with these coupons. So anyway, Tamaraj made this, no way this truly competes with the American Express Platinum card. They might get a few Sapphire Reserve customers who recently downgraded just because of the $300 travel credits and a few food credits, right? Yeah, no, that's true. That's actually a really good way to look at it. The $300 travel credit on the Sapphire card, people are used to that being easy. If they can identify that, okay, this is easy enough to use. And to be fair, the travel credit on this new Platinum card from Robinhood is probably the easiest one to get value from. Now, it does have some downsides to it, like we discussed, but it has some good sides, right? There's some good things to this. I definitely agree with that one. Let's see. Polygraph. Is your Robinhood Gold a signature or infinite? Yeah, the Robinhood Gold card is a signature card. And so it doesn't actually have the primary CDW domestically. It does have primary internationally. At least it was when I used it last year. So I don't know if that's changed in the last year. They actually have changed a decent amount. Johnny Jones. So what happens to the cash back? It can go to your investments, right? So the best way to redeem your Robinhood Gold card cash back is going to be to your brokerage account, which you have open with, and it doesn't have to be to your brokerage account. You can kick it into, say, a Roth IRA or a traditional IRA, just whatever kind of account you can open up with Robinhood. And right now, I think those are the only three accounts, right? The tax advantage accounts, and then the non-tax advantage, just regular brokerage account. That's going to be the best way, and you can just hold it in there, right? Because if you have the gold subscription, you're getting that high yield savings account kind of money, right? So you're getting that high yield interest. Or you could just cash out, right? You deposit the rewards into your brokerage account, and then from there you can send them out to checking accounts or anything like that. So there's a lot of different ways to do it, but that is the best way to do it. John Cutter, if Robinhood becomes real bank like SoFi, I'd make it my all-in-one. Yeah, John Cutter. So happy to tell you they actually have a checking account and a savings account. In fact, I actually probably still have my checks in here. I don't know how much I'll be able to actually show you, but we'll see if I can do some show and tell. Okay. Let's see here. I'll see if I can. Yeah. So they send you checks. So probably trying to hide everything. But yeah, so they send you checks. They send you a debit card. It's an all black debit card. It's plastic. But yeah, no, they are trying to be that full service bank. You can do a checking account and a savings account with them in addition to the brokerage. Now, the only thing that I kind of struggle with, so I opened up one, and they basically when I was trying to transfer money in and out, I didn't have access to Zelle. And so basically when I had to transfer from my other accounts to this account, it would take 1 to 2 business days. And so that was enough that okay, I don't want to know if I want to put my money into that, right? Do I want my checking or my direct deposits going in there and then it taking a couple of days for me to actually be able to use my money, right? That's going to be kind of the big kicker for me. But yeah, no, it definitely could be. It definitely could be. Robinhood would love it if you basically made Robinhood your end all be all for your financial life, right? All your deposits, all your retirement, all your savings, everything lives in Robinhood. That's what they want. That is why they're doing all of these different financial products. And so that's kind of the key thing we need to consider with all of this. All right, no race car, no life. Quick way to get the card: go to the Robinhood subreddit and send a message to the customer service there, and they will send you an invite. Interesting. Okay, so this actually is really solid. Thanks, no race car, no life. You're breaking news over here. So if you want the Robinhood, go to the Reddit, DM the people, and they'll take care of you. That's amazing. Okay, great job. Kevin, 10% hotel and car rental, 5% flights must be booked through Robinhood Travel Portal, and 5% dining. There is a cap of $50,000. Okay. So $50,000 on earning that. Okay. That's good to know. For most people, that's not going to matter, right? But let's say if you are someone who is a high roller, let's say you're traveling to like London, right? So when my wife and I, if we're staying at, the Conrad or the Langham or something like that, like those stays, if you're staying in a bigger room, which you have to with kids, it can get up to $10,000-$15,000 for a stay at certain properties, right? So I can definitely see some people being able to say, okay, we're going to hit that cap. But I feel like most people that have the card are not going to hit that cap, right? The average American, the average American Express card holder spends roughly $1,400 to $1,500 on the card every month, and so the average spender will definitely not come anywhere close to that, right? That's a good spot. Thanks so much for that. Johnny Jones, I compare this card to the Citi cards: 10x hotels, Citi Premier, 5x on dining, custom cash, of all for $95 without the silly credits. Yeah, yeah, exactly, right? And that's the other matrix. That's the other way to decide this, right? Do I compare this to the American Express Platinum card? Do I compare this? Is it worth giving up the gold card from Robinhood? Or is it worth giving up those Citi points, right? Because those Citi points, they get you a lot, right? What can you do with those I Prefer points, right? You can stay at, let's see, there's a really nice hotel in Coconut Grove. I think it's a Mayfair or something like that. It's like $400 or $500 a night on cheap nights, right? You can get that room for 15,000 Citi points. Like, that's crazy value through the I Prefer program. And so, yeah, $95 for that setup certainly seems to beat this one. Although I don't know how much better the Citi Travel Portal is compared to the Robinhood portal. I don't have a direct experience with booking at either of those portals. So if someone does, please put them in the comment section and we'll talk about it. But yeah, no, Johnny, that's a great point. The Citi is amazing. At Thizale, damn, all I did was get off the wait list, was checking my account with a VPN. Interesting. Okay, I only had $1 in my brokerage and never used Robinhood. Okay, that's good to know. It is kind of weird how this system works. I do think, and I definitely put myself in that list. I wonder if they're targeting people that they think are going to be carrying a balance, right? I wonder how much that is, because this is the one thing I am the most terrified of this card. And the reason why I always want to talk about it every single time I do a video about this card is because this is my highest interest rate card ever. This has 35.99% interest rate on this card. And so I never ever carry a balance on this, right? I never carry a balance on any of my cards, but this one is the one that scares me the most. I will never, ever, ever put more than, say, $1,000 on a billing cycle in this one, because I don't ever want it to get out of hand and this be the card that I have to carry a balance on, right? If something were to go wrong, right? If I were to lose my job, or if I had to come up with some, money, like if my car broke down or something like that, this is not the card I use because of that high interest rate. So that's kind of a concern as well, right? Is Robinhood worth doing your business with them, right? My Fidelity card, that interest rate's 18%, right? My American Express card, I think it's like 24 or 25%, right? There's a difference between using Robinhood, and I think that's kind of the unspoken rule here. Like, they want people who are going to be spending that money on that interest. All right, Tyler's credit card tips. I think this will be a niche within a niche. Either very specific cases, and those who don't really care about credit cards will be the one with this card most of the time. Yeah, exactly. I think this is the one for the finance bros, right? These are the ones that or at least think of themselves as being finance bros, right? Like the people who are like, oh, I still have an NFT of that really cool looking monkey. Do you want to buy it, right? Maybe that's kind of where this is going. I don't know. Let me know. Is this something that sounds worth it to you? That's going to be kind of the key consideration. Tyler continues, I think what they have with the gold is much better and usable for everyone, from enthusiasts to casuals to those who just don't really care about credit cards. Yeah, Tyler, you've hit the nail on the head there. That is exactly it. All right, Don Barry, wonder if you can run the Robinhood Gold along with the Platinum. So we don't know for sure. It does seem like most people are saying that you can't. It's going to be an upgrade offer. So if you currently have the Gold card, once you do get selected, you'll be offered a chance to upgrade to the Platinum card. It doesn't sound like it's you get the Gold and the Platinum. Now that would change it. That would change things a little bit. If you could have both the Gold and the Platinum, this makes more sense, I will say. So that's definitely an important question. YouTube Experiment, thanks so much, Jesse, for being here. Robinhood been making lots of money moves lately. Absolutely, right? They want your money, and they have to. And Robinhood is in a kind of a pre-revenue situation, right? Where they have to prove to their investors that they can continue to grow users. And right now they're doing that, right? They are continuing to show that they can get more and more people there. They have huge assets under management now that they did last year. And the Gold card is a part of that. That marketing play is a huge part of that increased assets under management, right? And not to mention the fact that they actually make money by selling how you buy stocks, right? They tell the companies who's buying which stocks, and then they hold your orders for a little bit, let those companies, let other, brokerage firms make those trades, and then, people make money, right? There's a lot of different ways to make money here. Corky, one of the interesting things in the Robinhood travel portal, at some hotels you can get breakfast included in your stay, similar to the THC, but you can do it for even one single night. Okay, that's really good to know. I guess that's through, I presume that's through whatever the Visa booking portal, system is, but that's really good to know, Corky. Thanks so much. I'm glad that we have somebody with some experience booking these hotel stays here. That's going to be amazing. PinFed got some same issue of Zelle, always wait a couple days. Yeah. And that's enough that it makes me even not want to use it, right? So that's the reason why I actually ended up getting rid of my Discovered checking account, because I just never got approved for Zelle. And it was like, okay, I have this card where I can earn 1% cash back if I can use it, but it's too difficult to actually get my money in and out of this account that it's not worth it for me to actually carry. So yeah, no, I 100% get that. Mikey's here. Got mine 2 weeks ago when the card popped up in Credit Karma's card search. Yeah, exactly, right? Credit Karma is amazing, right? It's funny because I have the Gold card, and Credit Karma has been trying to get me to apply for the Gold card for a while now. It's like they're just like, okay, we're just going to spread this out to whoever will take us at this point. All right, so we have officially hit 100 people on the chat. This actually surpasses the Mesa emergency live stream as well. So congratulations to all of us for being this. Please, I want you to make sure that you're hitting that like button. And also, there's a link in the description below. If you want to sign up for my newsletter, you can go to my website, sign up for my newsletter that comes out every single Friday morning. And I also keep you up to date with kind of what's going on with credit cards, points, and miles. And then also, I can help you save a lot of money with credit card offers. So thanks so much for everyone being here. Corky J, an example I saw was the JW Marriott in Anaheim. It's an AMEX hotel collection, but you can add breakfast daily through Robinhood, but I never stayed there to report how much the credit is versus AMEX. Yeah, so one of the things that we did find, so Frequent Miler actually did a comparison between the hotel collection and Fine Hotels and Resorts and the Edit collection with Chase. And what they saw was how that breakfast actually gets billed is differently, right? So I think on the hotel that they did, they were talking about like with the Chase one, it was just $60 as a statement credit, whereas with the Amex one, it was $30 per person on the reservation or something like that. So I definitely think there probably is a difference to how they actually end up doing it. But yeah, the free breakfast is that's amazing. Yeah, that would be, if I was looking at a property and I didn't have loyalty status with that property, right? Or let's say with Marriott, I have loyalty status, but it's not enough to get the free breakfast. It might be worth forgoing those points to actually get that free breakfast and book it through the travel portal. So that might be worth it, Corky. That's a great point that you made. Thanks so much. Antique, I'd sign up for this card only if it has equivalent sub compared to high-end travel card. Yeah, and that's the thing, right? So the Palladium card was kind of pushing it, right? With 50,000 built points for that sign-up bonus, plus on top of the built cash, right? We all thought, okay, that's really, really low, because the Platinum card, you can get it for as low as 80,000. Actually, no, now you can get it for as low as 50,000. But the high end is up to 175,000, or you can get 125,000 like I got for my offer, right? 50,000 sounded like not a lot. However, I don't know, would $500 be enough for me to actually pick up this card? I don't know, right? Like the credits don't seem like it's enough to make it worthwhile. So that's kind of be the thing that I'm going to have to think about, that I'm going to have to talk about, and things like that. So that's going to be a really, really intense kind of discussion for me. Like if I do have the option to get this card, is there going to be an offer, right? There has to be, I feel like, for this to be kind of like for there to be a $695 card with this limited lounge access, right? Because this is just Priority Pass, which means you don't get airline lounge access. You don't get bank lounge access. It's just the club, right? And the clubs suck. You know, if you're flying out of Orlando, you're going to the club, you're looking at half a bagel and an orange juice. You got to ask for someone to get from the back, right? That's what you're dealing with here. Is that worth paying $695 for a credit card? Not for a lot of people, right? Not for a lot of people. All right, La Vanessa, the finest. I love that. The lack of transfer partners makes it less flexible and definitely limit it from being a true travel rewards card. Right. This is just cash back. And so, yeah, so I think someone compared this to Bank of America, right? I think that's the right comparison. Or US Bank, right? US Bank famously are just cash back. They keep kind of stringing along this idea of transfer partners, but they just haven't pulled the trigger on that one yet, unless they actually have in the last day or so. But I don't believe they have. So yeah, no, that is 100% a problem, right? 3%, 5% is 5%. It can't be 10% if you're smart, right? And so that's going to be a problem for a lot of people. Okay, go to see Roy's program tabs. Right, yeah. Kevin Wynn. We actually did look at the term page. But let's go ahead and see if there's a Robinhood Platinum page. Let's go ahead and take a look and see. Robinhood Platinum credit card. There we go. Okay. So updated 40. So let's go ahead and take a look at the landing page. So thanks so much, Kevin. The actual Platinum card is here. The actual Platinum card. Oh man, they want you to think about this Platinum card, right? They want you to think, okay, this is not a Platinum card. We got the actual one right here. That is amazing. I love it. Okay, so pure Platinum plating. And so okay. So I used to be, so I grew up really close to my wife's brother, and I knew my wife existed at the time. And basically he was really into the Pokemon cards at the time. And he was really obsessed with, I think there was a gold-plated Charizard or something that was at McDonald's, and he was really obsessed with earning this one. And he was really obsessed with telling me how valuable it was. And I was like, it's gold paint, right? It's gold. It's not gold. Like the platinum plating, like I don't know. It's platinum valuable. I think the only reason why we think that platinum is better than gold is because of American Express. But I don't know. Okay, so can't confirm Visa Infinite first of all, so that's there. But yeah, I don't know. Extraordinary limits up to 5x higher credit limits. Oh, okay. So let's talk about this. This goes to that whole thing that I was talking about earlier with the interest rates. Any card that advertises huge credit limits is predatory. It's just okay. I'm sorry. I need to tone this back. It has strong associations with companies that are predatory. Hopefully the lawyers won't go after me for that one. But yeah, no. Whenever a credit card company tells you you're going to get a lot more money from us if you go with us, it's asking for people that don't know what that means, right? It's asking for people to think, okay, this bank just gave me a $20,000 check, right? That scares me about this card even more so than those high interest rates did, because than the Robinhood Gold card, right? So that's saying, okay, so if I got approved, the average person that I know got approved for 10,000, are they saying that they're going to throw $50,000 credit limits at people? That's obscene. Like nobody needs that much. I don't know. What do you guys think? Am I just being way too sensible about this? Yeah, I don't know. Okay, yeah. So James, so they were showing people with 100K limits during the YouTube stream. That's that's just obscene, right? Like I think my personal credit limit is around like $260,000 or something, and that's just because I have so many credit cards, right? My utilization is less than 1% every single year or every single month, and it's just because like there's no need for that. The only reason you need a credit limit that high is two things: you're renting a private jet and you pay it off, or you are not good with money and you're going to basically buy a Disney vacation on it. Like that, those are the two reasons to have a card with this high of high of a credit limit. I just don't get it. I just don't get it. Okay, I'm sorry. That was a nice little detour. Okay, yeah, the card with 5% cash back on dining, right? That is the key. Eligible restaurants. Let's see what 3 is. Scroll all the way down. Sorry, I hope I don't give you guys vertigo, but I really want to see. Okay. See some limitations or conditions apply. See membership benefit summary for details. Okay. Let's take a look here. Okay, so this is just the same thing we were looking at earlier. So it doesn't say specifically which restaurants are part of it. So that's going to be a problem, right? They don't know, or they're not able to say what the particular restaurants are in this list. So that's going to be kind of a key consideration, right? I'm trying to scroll up short, like in spurts, so I don't give you guys motion sickness. I guess I could have gone off of that, but yeah. So you get DoorDash discounts. That's 10. That's two $10 credits after you spend $50 each time per month, and then 3 in December. So yeah, again, I would not count this as 250. Then 250 at eligible restaurants. This is, I think it's what, $20 a month. That's good. Um, yeah, yeah, I get that. Complimentary Dash Pass membership, yeah, that's solid too. Brock brings up a good point. So the AMEX Plaid is advertised as a no preset spending limit card. They need to be able to respond to that. Right, that's true. The only thing that I kind of have a problem with that, right, is when I got approved for my Platinum card, it was like I think my pay over time limit was like maybe 20,000 or something like that. But like when I would hit like at least the first couple of months, when if I would hit like 4 or 5,000 on that, they're like, hey, you should probably pay it down. You know, I feel like that's kind of more responsible towards making sure people are doing the right thing financially. But yeah, that's fair, because the only answer to do that is, okay, I'm going to do a charge card, right? And I don't think they really want to deal with that back end, because then the negative repercussions start coming a lot faster, right? People can pay the minimum payments on a $30,000 credit limit, or $30,000 credit balance, right? It's difficult, right? But it takes a while for enough people to close their accounts or get their accounts shut down before things start to hit the mainstream media, right? Whereas with a charge card, if people rack up $10,000 in balances and they can't pay by the end of that month, things close immediately, right? Because you're not listening to the terms and conditions, right? So, yeah, you're right about that, Brock. That's a good point. That's a good point. Let's see. The Ratator or the Ratatar. I'd only need a super high limit for my business. Personally, a 15,000 limit is the highest I'd need. Yeah, 100%. Right. You're not going to spend more than that. I think one thing that I've noticed is that if we're using a card reliably, like if we're using it for most of our expenses, it needs to have roughly double our monthly expenses, because let's say if we're waiting for the statement to close, and then maybe we're waiting until the next paycheck or something to actually pay that off or something like that, then like we would be putting more monthly expenses on top of it. So it has to be able to at least afford that without getting anywhere close to the limit. So yeah, like if your monthly expenditures are $3,000 or $4,000, you don't need more than 10,000, I don't think. But yeah, no, that's a good point. No, Leonardo, so thank you. No, it's not a charge card. We were just comparing it to the Amex Platinum card. And so, yeah, so we were comparing the Amex Platinum being a charge card to the Robinhood with the high limits, basically. Okay, so I want to make sure that I didn't skip anything. I think I might have. All right. Go to okay, yeah. So YouTube experiment, Jesse. Capital One debit card, you can add cash, no charges, like pharmacies. Discover debit, you can add cash. Yeah, it probably will. I will say I did used to do that when I had the Uber. I think it was the Uber debit card at one point. But honestly, like bring the idea of bringing a bunch of cash into CVS or Walgreens or a Walmart, it just doesn't strike me as something that I want to do. But you definitely can, right? That's definitely true. It probably would, I would say. No fee for Discover too. Yeah, Tyler. Yeah, it's the one for Finance Bros. Thanks. Andy Garcia, I have to say in your videos on this, you mostly do it one take. Oh, thanks so much. Yeah. I think the only time I really do stop it is when I'm just like, wait a minute, did I just say something that wasn't true? And I have to think and look it up. And now I get to do it in real time with all you guys. So thanks so much for being here. Kevin, YouTube censorship, so I need use. Yeah, thanks so much. I don't know what's going on with that. It is kind of crazy. I noticed that a lot of my comments weren't going through as well. Tyler's responding to Andy. Yeah, it's something I definitely admire about the Kanye. Thanks so much. Yeah. All right. And thanks so much for being here, Tyler. Really appreciate you. Tyler's actually going to be here this weekend. We're going to be talking about a cool redemption that he made. John Cutter almost makes 0 cents of an upgrade from gold only. Right. Yeah. 100%. If it's one or the other, I'd rather have the gold card. I think at least from what I'm looking at. All right. So, Philip, what do you think of Ritz-Carlton? I have a feeling we are going to make the change to the Priority Pass lounge access. So, just recently, all the CSR users lost the login option of Priority Pass access. Interesting. I didn't realize that the Chase Sapphire Reserve lost their own Priority Pass access. I wasn't aware of that, actually. I did know that they limited the amount of guests you get. So that's kind of a key concern, but I wasn't aware that that had happened. That would be terrible, though, if that's what happened. Antique Heelbot, I just signed up for Credit Karma just out of curiosity and immediately threw an application for Gold Card. So, Antique, did you do a live apply? What was your credit limit at? Actually, let us know. All right, James. Oh man, you do notice palladium is poop metal. Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, yeah. I don't know much about metals, but yeah. Let's see. Yeah, okay. It looks like we're catching up. I only need to highlight. Okay, Leonardo, the new Robinhood Platinum. Okay, yeah. And then Judge Money Bits. Thanks so much for being here. Yeah, until you need 25,000. Okay. All right, your Antique already has a gold card. Oh yeah, so you're saying that they were giving you the other option for the gold card. Okay, so let's compare now. Let's do a side-by-side comparison. Let's see if we can do that. I don't know if I can do it with the. Let's do so. Okay, so where we're going to go from here, American Express is basically looking really, really hard. Robinhood is looking really hard to compare this to the platinum card, right? So let's take a look at the platinum card. Oh, actually, it says I might qualify for an upgrade. I may have to look into that. I just recently downgraded to the green card, so we'll have to see if I qualify for an upgrade here. But we won't do it in real time because I don't want to give you guys some information. Yeah, no upgrade offer available. All right, view details. So let's go ahead and take a look here. I already know a lot of these by heart, but I just want to go ahead and put it here so we have kind of the paper to show everything. But yeah, so American Express Platinum card, $895. So more expensive, right? $695 is the Robinhood Platinum card, and then we see this sort of thing here. But you do have a bunch of other benefits. So 5x back on not some good, like it's actually weird because the Robinhood has the platinum card with Amex beat when it comes to earnings, right? We're doing 5x back on flights. This is purchased directly or through the portal, 5x back on prepaid hotels through the portal, and then it's going to be 1x back on everything else. Exactly. And so that's going to be kind of a big deal. Global Lounge Collection, obviously, this one American Express takes the cake on, right? Because they have not only do they have the Centurion Lounge Network, they also have the Sidecar Lounge Network, as well as the Delta Sky Club Lounge Network, in addition to Lufthansa lounges, and I think that's in addition to that, they also have the access to the escape lounges, and then there's Priority Pass too, right? So American Express has Robinhood beat when it comes to lounge access. Oh, and they have 2 free guests, ostensibly with the Priority Pass access. Now, this $600 hotel credit can be used at 1-night stays or 2-night stays. So 1-night stays if it's fine hotels and resorts, which means the properties could be more expensive. But the hotel collection also is available for this credit as well, but that's going to be have a 2-night stay. And pretty much basically with Fine Hotels and Resorts, you get the free breakfast guaranteed. With hotel collections, some properties do throw in the free breakfast, but most of the time it's just, essentially $100 basically. Yeah, no, I will say I think the real Platinum card does look a little bit better. That's a good point. Yeah, so we get $600 here, so that's better than the 500, and that's $300 semi-annually. So compared to what was it, $150 semi-annually, or I need to look at it right. Let's go back to the page. Here we go. So $500, so $250. So a little bit better on that. And we don't know what the luxury hotels. It has to be booked in the app. And again, like I will figure out a way to do that in a separate video, but I can't do that on the fly because I'm actually using my phone as my camera. So that's, I would say American Express wins that one. All right, let's take a look at Uber Cash and Uber One. So I'm going to compare this directly to the DoorDash because I use my Uber Cash for Uber Eats. And so in that way, it kind of competes with DoorDash. And so the Uber One kind of works like DoorDash or the Dash Pass. A lot of people are saying that sometimes when you have Uber One, like the prices can actually be a little bit higher. So that's possible. So that's something that, should be at least talked about, right? But then $200 in Uber Cash, right? Is that better than, let's take a look at do we see? Yeah. So $250 in Dash Pass discount. So ostensibly it's better, but this is, it's $15 every month and then $20 in December. And there's no minimum, right? Your order can be $15 and you get that $15 credit. So this is a lot easier to use than the Robinhood Platinum card, right? And so that's going to be something that I need to talk about as well. The airline fee credit, there's nothing like that on the, well, actually, no. I mean, there is the travel credit. I guess so there's a travel credit. Let's see here. Yeah, so the annual travel credit, this one is better. It's $150 every 6 months, and it can go for ride shares, it can go for hotels, for airfare, stuff like that. So this is pretty good. In fact, this actually is better than the Platinum card, right? Because the Platinum card is an airfare incidental credit and not necessarily just a broad travel credit, right? So this is important to note. Let's see. Okay, so let's go ahead and now go back down. So the clear credit, right? Again, so if you're paying this much money for a travel card, everybody and their brother has a global entry and TSA pre-check credit, right? The Fidelity card, $0 annual fee, has this credit. So you need to have something more than that. And the American Express Platinum card has clear, which means that not only are you getting the TSA pre-check, but you also are getting an expedited line where you don't even have to pull out your wallet, right? I just keep my ID in my passport wallet, and that goes in a separate pouch in my backpack, and I never have to pull it out at the airport anymore because I don't check bags, and then also because I go through the clear line, right? So that's solid. That makes my airport stay feel a lot better. $400 Resi credit, right? $400 is better than, where's the dining credit? I think that was, $250, right? That's just better, right? This is monthly, right? At certain eligible restaurants, right? Resi is also certain eligible restaurants, but if it's on the Resi app, you get the Resi credit, right? That's easy enough to figure out how to get value from. Global dining access by Resi, there's no special kind of way to do stuff there. All right, then we get into the kind of, okay, now we got to talk about this being a credit, even though probably nobody gets value from it. Credit. Lululemon credit, $75. It is very difficult to find something that's $75 or less on the Lululemon store. I've purchased 2 pairs of pants and a hoodie. The hoodie was actually really amazing. I ended up actually wearing it in the hospital while I was with Wells, and it was really, really comfortable. Like I didn't even need a blanket when I was sleeping on that little couch that's off to the side because I had that really comfortable Lululemon hoodie. So yeah, no, fully there, but would I have bought that without this credit? No. Did I spend more than $75? Yes, right? So do with that what you will. $155 Walmart Plus. I use Walmart Plus. I'm actually kind of sad because I've downgraded, but I downgraded my Platinum card and I canceled my Business Gold card, which means I no longer have the Walmart Plus credit. So I only have a couple more weeks of actually using Walmart Plus, and then I actually have to figure out, okay, do I pay for it or do I just stop using it? Saks credit, nobody ever gets value out of this because they don't stock anything, so it is what it is. The Aura Ring credit, $200 for the ring itself, not for the $70 a year subscription or $6 a month subscription. I really did not think that I was going to use it, but I have. I've started to actually just continue to pay for it. And 5 people use the Equinox credit, so we're not going to talk about that. Okay, so that's the Platinum card, right? Now, the thing is, do we think that it's better than the actual Platinum card? That's the reason we're here, right? That is the reason why 100 people are in the lobby. Also, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe if you haven't already. In addition to that, there's a link in the description below. You can sign up for my newsletter on my website. Basically, that comes out every Friday morning where we talk about the latest news that's going on with credit card points and miles. And then in addition to that, we also talk about all these great credit card offers, right? So let's say I just got recently used one for Little Sleepies, which is a place you can go online and buy baby clothes, and it was buy $100 or spend $100, get $25 off, and it's from a place that my wife was already going to be shopping at. So we just recently saved $25, and that's also in the newsletter. So anyway, sign up for that newsletter. But now that that's out of the way, let's get back into the Robinhood Platinum card, right? So we have to talk about which one works, right? And I think honestly, sub 2C has it up, right? Garbage card. It's hard. If I was someone who had to only decide about one high value credit card in my wallet, it wouldn't ever be this card, right? If I'm spending this much money, I could spend less and I can get the Citi Strata Elite. I could spend a little bit more, get the Chase Sapphire Reserve. I could spend a decent amount more and get the American Express Platinum. I don't know. I don't know. Oh, okay. So we have some alternative situations. Okay, so the Ratatar. Starting to think the Robinhood Platinum might be better if you have the American Express Platinum and Gold. But that's just my first look. Okay, so yeah, so if you use the Dash Pass, and if the restaurants were easy to get value from for your area, and if the luxury hotels weren't terribly obscenely luxury, this is an easy card to get value from. It's just there's a lot of ifs there that I'm kind of nervous about. That's the only thing I would say is something I'm kind of nervous about. But that's a really great point. All right, so let's go ahead and go back through. Stinky Monkey Babies here. Thanks so much for being here. Appreciate you. Yeah, the real Platinum card looks better. Yeah, no, I definitely agree. I love this timeless design here. And I it's weird. I got the mirrored version and I hated it so much that I ended up actually just going ahead and going through and I'm going to get the regular version again. And so, but yeah, Jesse here is saying I disputed a charge with Robinhood Gold credit card and it said it was resolved in my favor several hours later, but still showing on the banking app. Testing to see if their chat is any help. That's great. Let me know how that goes because I'm curious because when I first opened the card, the terms and conditions that I had were for disputes, I had to mail it into a PO box, but it seems like a lot of people are saying that you can actually do it in the chat now, and it seems like a lot of people are saying that that's possible to get good value from. So that's really good to know. Thanks. Hopefully that keeps that just resolves itself, and maybe it takes a business day to resolve itself. I don't know. We'll see. John Bell. Yeah, and that's another part of the discussion, right? Cash back. Do we value that more than those American Express points? And so I got to say, so I'm kind of in a weird situation because I have a business platinum card and a business checking account, which means I can cash out my Amex points at 1 cent per point, barring all else. In fact, I'm taking some family members to a stay in Northern Virginia, and we're staying at a Hampton Inn. And it actually ends up actually being better for me to cash out points and use that money to pay, for the stay than to actually convert my Amex points into Hilton points, because I'd actually be able to earn points on that stay, which means the overall cost actually goes down a little bit. And so having that flexibility is really huge because sometimes it makes more sense to pay in points, sometimes it makes more sense to pay in cash, and I feel like more frequently it's becoming a little bit makes more sense to pay in cash. In fact, I actually just recently paid cash for a couple of United flights because the point redemptions were just atrocious. And so, yeah, there's definitely a very strong argument to say that cash is king. Dems, thanks so much for being here. Appreciate you. Mike Newland as well. Thank you so much. Let's see, Eric Angeles. So we have the Robinhood Platinum card is the new card that we're all talking about, and so the actual Platinum card is here, and it's a Visa Infinite card, so at least it has that going for it. So it has a lot of different kind of benefits and all sorts of really great things going on. And then 5% dining if you eat out a lot, right? Yeah, but the thing is, right, if you eat out a lot, do you just decide to go with the gold card because it gets you 4x on grocery stores as well? Or do you decide to just do the City Strut Elite with the City Nights? Or do you just get a bunch of City Custom caches? The 5% sounds good. Is it worth going through all the stuff you have to go through for this card? I don't know. Luigi, you could also go with the Charles Schwab AMEX Platinum if you want that brokerage account linkage. Yeah, exactly, right? 1.1 cent per point. And I think the Morgan Stanley allows you to now cash out at 1 cent per point as well. Let's see. I finally caught Points of Phillip live after missing with them. Thanks so much for background. Hope you're doing well as well. Everything's going great with Wells. He's just amazing. Love him. I might show a picture of him later. Glinterin, Amex Schwab Platinum is great for the one. Yeah, exactly. So, having cash is good if you're going to pay that much for a card, right? Maybe get the Schwab version, maybe get the Morgan Stanley version, maybe get the business version, right? That's important to note. All right. Why is it dining cards are offered way more and easier to get? John Cutter, that's actually a really good question. So honestly, this one here has to do with merchant fees, right? So if you run a business, right, you probably have a merchant account, and what happens is you select for yourself what industry you're in. And based off of that industry answer, you can pay drastically different percentages for processing those credit card fees, right? And for some reason, we've decided that dining gets the highest amount of processing fees for credit cards. And a lot of the times that they actually end up paying more money if you are paying with a higher tiered card, right? So if I'm paying with the Venture X, which is a Visa Infinite card, that merchant might be paying more for that transaction than if I just used my Saver card, right? And so, basically because there's more money in it, it's more rewarding for us, basically, is the reason why. Snaps back sales, Amazon One Medical. That is kind of something that we tried to look into. Tyler's credit card tips said that it's very similar to a Costco health situation. And so it's kind of like a subscription thing. I think at one point they were getting into prescriptions, prescription like kind of subscriptions, prescription subscriptions. Okay, let me go ahead and take a look here. So Amazon One pay per visit is basically you get started, pay per visit, or you could go ahead and get trusted care for your child. Interesting. Okay. So you can get help with male hair loss. Well, it's too late for me, guys. I guess I should have subscribed to Amazon One Medical a couple of years ago. Whoops. Sorry, Mrs. Points of Phillip. Then you can also get help with erectile dysfunction, or you could just go to Uncle Luke live stream and click on his links. Or we could talk about eyelash growth or motion sickness. I'm so glad we could do this. So let's take a look at men's health. Okay, so men only deal with 3 issues according to Amazon. That's amazing. Okay, so so this actually is interesting. I wonder how much it is. Okay, so I'm not seeing how much it actually is if you wanted to sign up for the subscription. Okay, let's go back to the comments. Okay, so it's like an online urgent care, 100%. All right. Gary, too many things to keep track of. Yeah, I agree. There's a lot of things to keep track of there. Jesse saying they'll have to email me later. I don't know. Seems to be mediocre. Also have an issue with Barclays. I've gone years not disputing. This month alone, I had dispute through. Wow, that's amazing. I will say, I think the easiest dispute I've ever done. Oops, sorry, Sadie. There's a dog under my feet. The easiest dispute I've ever done was actually with USAA. I hadn't looked at my credit card in a couple of weeks and saw that there was a bunch of purchases from I want to say like Switzerland or something. And so I ended up actually just emailing them and be like, hey, like I didn't make these purchases. They reversed them immediately, canceled the card, sent one out. I had it 3 or 4 days later. Like it was a solid experience, but I haven't had to deal with it with Robinhood, and Barclays doesn't like me for any cards. Although I did just get an offer for the, let's see if I have it here. Am I going to have to get readers? All right. Nope, that's not the one. There's it's like the Wyndham Access one. So it's their basically no annual fee, 7,500 bonus point sign up bonus for people with building credit, which they always send me building credit offers once I actually reach like too much velocity. But yeah, so Barclays doesn't like me too much. All right, background balloon. Dang, I had no idea the Robinhood had a plaque card. Yeah, they just announced it this evening. Looks fire, but why are they low-key copying Amex naming? Can't wait for Robinhood green card, I guess. Yeah. Well, I think the next one will be the Robinhood black, or the Robinhood black card, right? They're going to try to go up market with that, or at least the perception of being up market, right? Maybe they'll just say it's a black card that you can get if you pay, $2,000 a year or something like that. All right. Do you think Palladium, Rakuten, Amex, and Platinum combo would work as well if they do not allow to get Robinhood Gold and Platinum? Okay. So we're getting the Palladium card, the Rakuten Amex, and the Platinum card. Okay. Wow. First of all, those annual fees are adding up. But I'll say the Palladium is going to be your catch-all. The Platinum card is your travel card. And the Rakuten card, I guess, would be your grocery and everything else card. Okay. Yeah. It honestly depends on if you value points or cash back at this point, right? Are you into the points and mile space or are you into cash back? I think that's going to be the key answer. For whether or not this Robinhood setup is going to be better for you. Damn, thanks for all good. Oh, that's amazing. I love it. Eric, the Robinhood Platinum is pretty good, and I have AMEX Platinum. I would keep them both. The Robinhood Platinum is $800 in travel hotel credits, and Function Health is awesome. I pay $4.99 a year just for it now. Okay, Eric, without going too deep into your health history, what kind of value do you get out of those tests? Like, I'm curious, is it more than what you would just get at Quest with your primary health care doctor or something like that? Let me know. Party, hot take, these credits feel better and more reasonable to use than the CSR. Interesting. Okay, we'll take a look at the CSR actually. Let's do that. Hopefully I won't add Chase Sapphire, if I can spell Sapphire right. Maybe it needs to have male memory loss on my Amazon One medical thing. All right, let's take a look here. Chase Sapphire Reserve. There we go. All right, let's go ahead and share my screen. And let's take a look at, because they have DoorDash promos, right? So they have, $5,000 in value, right? The card pays you $5,000 to carry it, right? Chad is rolling, is just eye rolling me so hard right now. But yeah, okay, let's take a look at the DoorDash credit here. All right, so we have the Dash Pass membership, which you get with the Robinhood Platinum card. And this was $300 in DoorDash promo. So members get up to $25 each month. $5 monthly spend on restaurant orders and two $10 promos each month to save on groceries. Okay, yeah. So I can see, is it easier to hit where, the $50 limit can be with dining or with groceries? Yeah, I can definitely see the DoorDash promo being easier to use with the Platinum card, although they're both kind of stupid. Like, come on, just give me the credit, guys. I get they have to make it, dumb, right? What can I do with the earning points? Do Robinhood have any transfer partners or adding in the future? They currently don't have any transfer partners. I haven't heard where they've been adding any. The best way to actually redeem your Robinhood points is at 1 cent per point into your brokerage account. Everything else is lower than that. You can buy gift cards. You can also do a statement credit, which is less. You can also get loot boxes and other kind of fun things with your points. But in fact, you can actually buy lounge access. I think it's $50 in points of 5,000 points for each lounge visit, which, if you have the rewards, then yeah, use it. But I don't know if that would be worth it, especially now that you have, the priority pass. YouTube experiment. The other bill I'm disputing is the medical bill that it didn't go through my insurance for whatever reason. So there's that as a third. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. I hate it when they do that. They just decide, like, my wife and I, we were going through one doctor's office, and we've been dealing with them for ages. They had been using Quest, and then all of a sudden they decided for one test that they were going to go to whatever the other lab provider was. And that's, of course, the one that's out of network with our insurance. And just for some reason, they were just like, okay, this one test is going to be, $2,000, and I think no, we stopped. They did take that away, actually, but we did have to fight it for a lot. Shavisu, 10% cash back is great for investing. Yeah, 10%. I think that's what on hotels, right? Yeah. So on hotels, and car rentals through the portal. So yeah, if you're doing 10% back on those things, that's solid, right? That could be worth more than 14 points per dollar if you're using your Hilton card, right? Or 5 Amex points per dollar. There you go. Yeah, YouTube explained they didn't attempt to go through the insurance, right? It is a Visa Infinite card, so I think that there are certain things that can't change. But yeah, no, they definitely don't want that to be the key thing. They're probably buying the least amount of possible, right? Because my Visa Signature card, it doesn't have that primary CDW. Now it does have kind of the other things, right? But it doesn't have like everything that Chase does. So I wouldn't consider Chase Visa Infinite value to equal Robinhood Visa Infinite value, if that makes sense. Okay, background balloon. Robinhood next year, probably. We are proud to announce Robinhood Centaur, especially because Centaurian probably already copyrighted and Robinhood agree. Yeah, exactly. There we go. Background balloon. The real question now: are we getting a Robinhood Platinum? I think that goes without saying, right? That would be. I'm surprised. I think okay. I wouldn't put it past them, right? Because they're really good at trying to make as much money as possible. But I would have assumed if that were going to happen, that it would have launched, right? I feel like that would have been the case, but it's not. So that's actually pretty interesting. So that's important to note. Someone's responding to me actively now on Discord. So, but yeah, no, I think if they were going to have a platinum membership, they would have already rolled it out with the platinum card. I can't imagine them not doing it later. John Cutter, has anybody ever compared using cashback money for direct bookings versus standard points? Domestic may be close. Yeah, no, John Cutter, 100% right. So I was looking at a United flight from Orlando to Dulles. And the reason why we were flying into Dulles instead of DCA is because we're actually visiting family in Northern Virginia and not DC proper. And so that was, I could transfer 15,000 because I don't have a United card. So I could transfer 15,000 Chase points or Bilt points into United for those cards, or I can pay $150. So I decided to go ahead and pay the $150 for that ticket and just cash out the 15,000 Amex points, because I have a lot more Amex points than I do Chase or Bilt points, and just reimburse myself for paying it. So I'm earning more points with United on top of not using my Chase points. And so, yeah, so some bookings might make more sense to actually go through and, make sure you're just cashing out your points and using that. So cash back for some of these redemptions is actually not a bad idea. That's a solid point. Same thing with the hotel stay that we actually recently booked as well. So for some of those low effort kind of hotels, it might make more sense to just pay cash and reimburse yourself either with rewards from cash or points, and then kind of go from there. So that's a solid point. Servicio, 5% dining with a 50% cap is amazing. Yeah, I think the 50% cap is across all of the things. So 10% for hotels and cars, plus 5% for air travel, plus 5% for dining is all included in that 50% cap or $50,000 cap. And so, like, if you are someone who pays for flights or if you are someone who pays for hotels, you're going to hit that 50K cap pretty quickly. So at that point, it stops being worth it, right? If you make 5% off 50,000, how much is that? So we have a calculator. I can pull up a calculator. We're doing it in real time. I am not a math teacher, though. I am a government teacher that also teaches economics. So we're going to see. So 50,000 in spending times 0.05. So 2,500. Yeah, that's not bad. I think that's right. Yeah, 0.05. Yeah, 2,500. Yeah, 2,500. Okay. Yeah, so 2,500, and if you max that out, that's not bad. If you could get 4x back on that same spending though, with the gold card, and you got 2x back per, on those point values, then you could make more than that. But those are a couple ifs, right? If you just want to play it safe and do the cash back, then that's kind of what you're working with. All right, background balloon. The only issue with the Robinhood Plat for now is that a lot of the credits only apply to qualifying purchases relative to what the credit does. Yeah, exactly. And so this qualifying thing, what is going to qualify? First of all, what happens if the credit doesn't automatically get applied, right? So we saw that a lot with Chase and a lot with Resi, with American Express, right? Where something was in the edit collection or the Sapphire Reserve exclusive tables, or it was in Resi and then it was no longer, right? With Chase and with AMEX, you have people you can go to talk about it, right? And they'll send you a condescending email about how they're giving you a one-time exception credit, but they're still give it to you and there's still people to talk to. Whereas with Robinhood, you have that chat, you can email in, but I feel like being able to talk to somebody would be more beneficial. I don't. What do you guys think? Let me know. Let me know in the comment section below. I will say, as someone who has literally been up since 4 a.m. feeding a baby, I will be calling it quits pretty soon. I just want to make sure I'm around for everybody. Thanks so much for being here. This has been kind of an incredible opportunity to kind of discuss what's going on with you guys and hopefully have something that's just kind of helpful to work through it together. But anyway, I just want to make sure that I get all of your comments or questions in before we do it. Let's go ahead and do another real quick recap, just because we have the Robinhood Platinum card, which is, they're labeling it the actual Platinum card, right? They're wanting you to compare it to American Express. And so that's why we've been doing that. Yeah, and so there we go. Visa Infinite cards, that's got to be a huge plus. This extraordinary limits up to 5x higher credit limits than the Robinhood Gold card, I'm concerned about. They're advertising 50, 100,000 credit limits. I'm concerned about that, right? From a business perspective, I think they might be trying to target some people to be able to, rack up those balances, right? So that's something I'm concerned about. The 5% back on dining, that's nice. That's the one thing everyone's going to talk about with this card. We got to figure out if it's worth it. Do we have to give up the 3% with the Robinhood Gold card? Is it worth it? Can we do both, right? That's going to be a kind of a key consideration moving forward. The DoorDash is fine. The Dash Pass membership is fine. The eligible restaurants, right? If it is part of that special kind of reward dining program, it won't be worth it to me. Like, I probably won't get that much value out of it. Like, can I force it? Yeah. But do I go to any of those places regularly? No. And so that's going to be kind of a big concern for me. The global entry, that's great. The priority pass, they're only talking about you getting access, and then your paid authorized users get access, but we don't see how much the authorized user card is. So that's also going to be important to note as well. The hotel credit, that can be easy to use depending on what they qualify as luxury hotels. The annual travel credit, that seems to be relatively easy to use. I think it's $150 every 6 months. So that's solid. And then they have all these health and wellness things. The Aura subscription, which is great because I'm paying $70 a year anyway. Exactly. Right. And then Function is a kind of a lab test thing. Amazon One Medical will help you with your balding. It didn't help me, but I didn't know about it until today. And then you also have $200 wearable credit, which is very vague. So apparently there's some things that qualify and there's some things that don't. And then we also have, okay, add family members at no additional cost. Okay. So that's actually, if that's true, where you get no, okay. Actually, guys, I'm sorry. I've got to backtrack here. If you can add family members at no additional cost, and they've already said in the terms and conditions that authorized users get their own priority pass, this might be kind of overpowered. Now you're still paying $6.95, so it's more than the Ritz-Carlton card, but you can get it, which is a huge plus-ish. Well, if you're on the invite list. And you also get that Aura subscription and everything else. So this actually, I'm excited by this. If this is true, and you can add family members at no additional cost, and they get all the authorized user benefits, this could be really good. This is kind of big. I did not see that before. So this is share perks and rewards with family, easily track spending and set limits. So let's go ahead and see what 6 says. Add authorized user at no additional cost. Certain benefits may only be... Okay, here we go. So they're not saying what the fee is. Okay. So you can add an author. So it's going to be like the Capital One authorized user, right? Where it's free to add them, but then if you want some things, you got to pay up, and we don't know what that fee is, so that's going to be a concern. So but if it was no annual fee, that would be pretty amazing. So paid authorized users get a priority pass. Yeah. Okay, so that's good to know. Let's see. Antique. I don't know the definition of wearable, but I'm pretty sure Garmin smartwatch would be included. I would hope so, right? $200 off a Garmin smartwatch is pretty awesome. I think that would also get you the base model Apple Watch, the SE, almost for free, I think, as well. So that's important to note. Background balloon. If Robinhood is following Amazon's definition of a guy's medical needs, wearables probably only include wigs, eggplant stuff, and chocolate starfish stuff. Oh man, background, you are hilarious. That's amazing. Antique Heelbot. That's pretty big, but again, if need to have big size, yeah, 100%. I agree with that. 100%. It needs to have some reason for me to get the card, right? John Bell, all those people on gold waitlist are wishing they were invited to this card instead. Oh, 100%. Exactly. I think somebody actually was asking, okay, yeah, so it's on paper, but I still haven't been accepted for the gold. Go to Credit Karma. Create a Credit Karma account. See if you're targeted for the gold card. A lot of people are picking it up that way. So just do that. There is also, if you're not targeted for it, there's a way to kind of hack a link to do it that you may want to do, you may not want to do. But it seems like they're throwing it at anybody on Credit Karma. Okay. Well, we do have 113 people here. I do want to ask again, please hit that like button. Please subscribe if you haven't already. And also, please go ahead and hit the link in the description below to sign up for my weekly newsletter that comes out every Friday morning. We go through everything that's going on with credit card points, news, and miles. Some combination of those words. And sorry, it's late, guys. Anyway, yeah. And we do credit card offers as well. Okay. But anyway, thanks for being here. Mikey is saying that he actually tried to hack the link on Credit Karma. It didn't work. Okay. So I wonder, how after it becomes kind of widespread, how possible is it to kind of keep that going, right? That's I wonder. But yeah, it seems like they've locked that down. That's sad. But yeah, I mean, they are still throwing it. Like I was saying it earlier on the live stream, where I actually, I have the gold card, right? It's right here. And they basically Credit Karma was saying that I could apply for it again. I didn't try to apply for it again. I guess I should have to see if I get 2. Although I don't know why. I don't know if I would get any other benefits from having 2, but I don't even know if it's possible to get 2. But yeah. Anyway, another thing that we got to talk about. Yeah, while you're here, we got to talk about the Avon card. I just recently got the Avon card, and it gets 3% back on up to $10,000 in spend, and then 2% back on everything else, which is kind of solid too. It does have its own little app thing. It's funny because it's from the same bank, I think, right? It's Coastal Community Bank. So it's from the same bank that runs the Robinhood Gold card. Is it? Or is it Coastal Community? Yeah, it's the same bank. So if you want to do business with the same bank and still get the same amount of cash back, you can just go with the Avon card, which is also available on Credit Karma as well. I don't have a referral link for it. Oh yeah, yeah. Let's see here. Thanks so much for being here. That guy. I really appreciate that guy. He's awesome. John Bell too, just for bragging rights because so many people can't even get why. Right? Yeah. There we go. Yeah, I got it too. That's how much of a finance bro I am, guys. Background balloon. I forgot you were in Eastern Standard Time. I think, yeah. 4 a.m. Eastern was forever ago. That's when I really got to go to sleep. Oh no. Yeah, it was a while ago. But it's funny because it was my wife and I, we kind of, our sleeping schedule, with Wells, we're pretty much just able to I'm actually usually sleeping around this time, and I usually end up taking over around 3 or 4 a.m. and then just kind of take it until she wakes up at like noonish or so, or maybe even closer to like 9 or 10. And pretty much like we just kind of, that's how we do the sleeping, which has been working for us. But let me see if I can see a picture of Wells just to share with you guys before things go away. Yeah, here we go. Let's see if I can share my screen. I'm going to remove this, add to state. Actually, yeah, remove this. Stop screen sharing, share screen, and then window. And there we go. There's a little dude. So this is actually just after he had a huge blowout. He was very proud of himself. So that was awesome. But anyway, thanks so much for being here, guys. I really appreciate you listening to me talk for, wow, an hour and 43 minutes. You have more patience than I do. I will say thank you so much for being here. Let me know in the comment section below, if you're watching this on the replay, what do you think about this card? Is it something that's worth keeping? Also, make sure to like and subscribe, and also make sure to sign up for that newsletter. But anyway, thanks again so much for everybody for being here. I hate to run out on 100 people in a room, but I might just not even start making sense later. So anyway, thanks again for being here. Really appreciate you guys, and hope you have a great day. Bye.